could see them walking, each at his own individual pace. I could hear them talking, chattering about what had happened the other day, or about whining about the crappy test the teacher had given that everyone had failed. I could feel the wind brushing through my skin. However, as aware as I was, I couldn't move. I felt my breathing get heavier and heavier. I felt my heart pounding faster and faster as it sunk down to my knees. I felt as if the world was spinning around me. Then, suddenly, a ringing in my ears. Someone was talking to me, fueling what I was feeling. My friend sat me down and calmed me down, and I went back to normal. However, from that day in 6th grade onwards, a question kept lingering in my mind. Who was that was so in control of me when I wasn't in control of myself? Now, I'm going to answer that question in a bit. You're probably wondering, who am I to be speaking about such a certain topic? Well, I'm just an 18-year-old guy living his average mediocre life. However, I'm not here today to speak about my life. I'm here to present to you a very influential person, not only to me, but to all of you. And I'm presenting to you none other than my clingy friend, Annie. Where's Annie? You may say, well, she's here. She's inside my head, and she's inside all of your heads, even if you don't know it. Well, who's Annie? Annie is a human representation of what we all feel, and it's anxiety. Now, at first, her presence was subtle. I'm at my 9 a.m. physics class. She's there. I'm 7 feet above the ground on a thrilling roller coaster. She's there. I'm trying to fall asleep on a random Saturday night at 3 a.m. Still there. Then, as I grew older, I could feel her presence becoming stronger and stronger in my life, more prominent, especially during the tough times. For example, when I experienced my first breakup a few years back, I could feel her constantly reminding me how much of a failure I was, how I wasn't worthy of love, how I couldn't do anything right. I could feel her pressuring me into being angry and sad. This, my friends, is what anxiety can do to you, if you let it. Today, I'm here to not to talk about how to combat this feeling, but I want to talk about how we can minimize its effects on our daily lives. One of the most accurate representations of anxiety is in the 2024 Pixar movie, Inside Out 2. Inside Out is a movie that showcases a little girl, Riley, and how she navigates her everyday life. What's special about it, though, is that it gives the audience a front row seat inside Riley's brain and into how each and every emotion plays a role in regulating her life and her actions. The entire plot of Inside Out 2 focuses on how anxiety, as Riley grows older and becomes more paranoid about her life as a hockey player, takes control of her and throws all of her other emotions into her subconscious, rendering them non-functional. What happens is that her mental state dwindles, which causes her to make many unwarranted mistakes, such as temporarily losing her 2 best friends and jeopardizing her place on the hockey team. Well, many of us have done similar regrettable actions due to the emotions and feelings we were going through. This is why it is very important for us to understand anxiety, the biology of it, as well as the psychology of it. You know the saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer? That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna explain to you the mechanism of the fight or flight response. Now, let's take this scenario. You are walking alone in a dense jungle, taking a hike with Mother Nature. Well, suddenly, you hear a sound. You turn around, you see a shadow creeping from behind, ready to attack. What happens to your body? Well, first of all, your pupils dilate for you to be more aware of your environment. Blood flow is decreased in your body, and it's concentrated in your extremities, such as your legs, your hands, and your brain. What also happens is that your breathing, as well as your heart rate, increases to allow the oxygen to enter to your body. Also, you start shivering as your muscles are being primed for action. Sounds familiar? These are the exact same symptoms of anxiety attacks. Imagine how strong you are to be able to overcome these emotions and feelings every day. Your brain tricks you into believing that you are being attacked. Speaking of the brain, from the ripe age of 5, we are taught that the brain controls everything we do. This is true. However, matter of fact, reality is more complex than that. It all boils down to something called hormones. What is a hormone? A hormone is a chemical messenger that is sent through the blood to other glands that allows other glands to perform a function or to secrete a different hormone. Now, what happens is that the brain releases a hormone which triggers a structure above the kidneys called the adrenal gland to release 2 hormones, epinephrine, more commonly known as adrenaline, you all know adrenaline, and cortisol. Whenever a person encounters a situation that he or she deems as dangerous, these 2 hormones are secreted in excess. Now, I want to emphasize that even if the situation the person is facing is not objectively or inherently threatening, if this person views it as dangerous to their own life, the fight or flight response will be nonetheless triggered. Now that we have understood the biology of anxiety, it seems way insignificant in front of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we go through every day. The hardest part is acknowledging what we are going through, and the even harder part is speaking about it. Trust me, the fear of judgment kept me struggling for years. You remember that breakup I talked about earlier? Well, yeah, that took a toll on my mental health. But I was afraid to talk about the things that I was going through. I was afraid of judgment. I didn't have the courage. Coincidentally, and to my benefit, however, my mother entered my room one day while I was crying, and I told her everything. And that day was the turning point in my life. It changed my life for the better. I knew that I could trust people. I knew that I could open up and talk about what I was feeling. And you can find that person too. Around you, there are many people that love you, that care for you, that want to know that you are struggling and that want to help you. And even though if you can't find a person like that, there is no shame in seeking a mental health consultant. Mental health professionals are equipped with the necessary tools to help you navigate life. Now, seeking external help is important. However, we should also look internally. How do we do that? Self-reflection is the way to self-understanding. You can do that by practicing the art of mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is being intensely aware of what you are feeling as well as the environment around you at a certain moment. You can do that through meditation and breathing exercises. And you can also do that by practicing a technique called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Now, I'm gonna tell you how you can practice this method. First of all, when you are feeling anxious, you acknowledge 5 things that you can see. After that, you acknowledge 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. The goal of this exercise is to keep you grounded. It's to make you calmer. It's to help you deal with these emotions. Now, you can listen to what I say and not do anything about it. But what I want to tell you is that the change starts with you. You have to be mindful. You have to seek help. It is you who can only change your life. It is you who can make your life better. It is you who can be healthy physically, but more importantly, mentally. You can drown in guilt, sitting in bed all day, doing nothing about it, or you could help better your own life. Being guilty all the time, feeling anxious all the time is not right by you. It is not just. Now, I leave you with these 4 words engraved in your minds and in your hearts. Be kind to yourselves. Thank you.